Growing up, I've learned that my mother has lied to me before. Of course, I never really thought much of it. I believed in Santa Claus until my mother said, "Hey, do I really have to buy you this Barbie doll, or are crayons good enough?" Followed by, "You know it's not Santa you have to be good for, it's me." Wait, what? Humanity has come to share this same mentality about truth. The facts are conforming to our beliefs, and we are now living in a society of truthiness. You may not think truthiness is a word, but you're sadly mistaken. Coined by satirist Stephen Colbert on his former program, The Colbert Report, it has come to be defined by Webster's as the quality of preferring concepts or facts one wishes to be true, or as Colbert himself defines it, truth that comes from the gut, not the books. It is now typical for us to pick and choose which facts we want to believe. Don't expect unbiased honesty from the media, and don't accept everything that they write. I have personally been affected by the media's fabrication of the truth, and no one is an exception. We believe everything the media tells us because they mostly appeal to our emotions, much like what my peers and I will try to do for you guys today. So, first, let us take a look at the impact truthiness has on our society. Second, seek some logical solutions. And third, see what this can do for us. The truth is out there, and even before my mother, there has always been a certain neglect for the facts. So first, our society is suffering from ethical anti-rationalism. Facts, logical distinctions are made with sentiment, not reasoning. Social psychologists Wendy Wood, Frank Y. Wong, and J. Gregory Chachier writes in their study titled Effects of Media Violence that the media impacts our everyday lives. Further, their studies prove that our behavior is greatly influenced by the media we choose to watch and read. The Associated Press has come to create their own truths, and this has driven public opinion. Wild confusion, The Guardian's Dr. David Kelly reported that Iraq had long trained and supported terrorist activities. Their weapons of mass destruction are a long-term threat to the United States. Despite the evidence provided by the CIA that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, former President George W. Bush bypassed their warnings and led through with Operation Iraqi Freedom. It was the truthiness of those imminent mushroom clouds that led to the invasion of Iraq. But regardless of their opinion on the war, there are some facts that cannot be changed. We were led to war on false pretenses, and now more than 4,000 American soldiers have died because pursuing the truth wasn't important. Former White House Press Secretary Scott McClellan writes in Newsweek that waging an unnecessary war was a great mistake. But our greatest mistake was our decision to turn away from candor and honesty when those qualities were most needed. We saw the warning signs, but chose not to act, because then we'd have to face the realities of the situation. So, the media helped convince us otherwise. Much like when my uncle owned a restaurant and a story broke out that a toddler had gotten the measles. They swarmed my father and I as we were walking into the restaurant, and all he said was no one was sick. They spun the story and said that because no one was sick, they had to have fired an employee, therefore they fit the criteria. But that's not true. My uncle's business went into a downward spiral, and now he's moved out of America. Perhaps no example is more valid than the global warming debate as well. Now, I'm just going to come right out and say this. There is no scientific evidence to prove that the theory behind global warming does not exist. In a study done by Matthew Glover, a noted conservatory blogger, he found that 72% of the media coverage about global warming includes a skeptic point of view. Millions of Americans still remain dubious to the fact that humans are affecting our planet at all, when we have the Intergovernmental on Climate Change, or IPCC, quoted saying that the scientific evidence behind climate change is unequivocal. But Bernard Cooperman explains that it isn't just that the media may have led us to war, or that they're promoting science as they want it to be, or even that they're driving the public to stop supporting local businesses. It's that we as a society are more than comfortable accepting spin, so that we've confused opinion and knowledge. We've all seen what happens when we let the media create inconvenient truths. We've confused freedom of press with freedom of fact. If you hear a report that you don't think is accurate, it probably isn't. You should figure out what the truth really is. Which leads us to how we can solve this truthiness epidemic. Secondly, Carol Patters, a member of the American Psychological Association, has a different idea. She explains that because most of us are not self-corrected and our blind spots keep us from seeing what we need to see, external procedures have to be in place to correct our truthiness. There should be a policy to regulate news production so that there is a decrease in social cohesion. The policy should enforce media accuracy so that our society isn't clouded by falsified facts. Our emotions have long been swung by half-truths and biased opinions. And we can start by following the example that Stephen Colbert set for us. We can declare war on the Associated Press. Now, when the AP forgot to credit Colbert with coining truthiness, he declared that the number one threat facing America today was the media. Number two, bears. And while we may not go to these same extremes, we have to remember to demand tenacious and honest reporting from our media. We can't be afraid to question, to backcheck, or confirm the things that we hear. This leads us to how this solution can help us. So third, the United States government has already put a policy in place that we can follow the example of. We have the Communications Decency Act of 1969. This act gives the government power to censor pornographic things on the internet. Well, the Associated Press should have the decency to tell us the full truth. In conclusion, we took a look at the impact truthiness has on our society. We've been led to war, disbelieved in global warming, and forced family members away. Second, we talked about some solutions, and third, we saw an example that we can follow. So think about everything that might have been prevented if we had bothered to ask the right questions. Much like when my friends in kindergarten asked if Santa Claus was real, I might have blurted out that Santa isn't real and our parents buy our presents for us. Unfortunately, I kind of messed up a couple of kids' dreams and aspirations, but hey, at least they know the truth, the full truth. Our first step in the fight for media accuracy would be to sign a petition for honest reporting at honestreporting.com. I thank you all for listening to me today.